Well, you wouldn't believe it. Up here at the top, 2,000 meters, La Plagne, stage 19 of the 2025 Tour de France. No, it wasn't Tadej Pogacar or Jonas Vingegaard, the top 1-2 overall in this race, but Thymen Arensman, the rider from Ineos Grenadiers, the Dutchman who won the Super Beignet stage, who nipped away in the final kilometers on today's stage to hold off the Poggi group and take a second stage win in this 2025 Tour de France. Quite a surprise because the gap was bridgeable all the time in those closing kilometers by Tadej or by Jonas. We were waiting for that launch for Tadej to win in the yellow jersey that didn't come on Ventoux, didn't come on the Col de la Loze, and no, didn't come here in stage 19. And it was a short power pack stage, an already short stage that was shortened even more because the first climb, the Saez, and the climb there next to it was taken out due to an outbreak of some cows, of some dermatitis that the farmers have been dealing with. And so the Tour de France, not wanting to cause the farmers any more stress, decided to skip that pass and the pass there next to it, shortening the stage from 130 to 93 kilometers. Roglic, Primoz, hit out again as he did yesterday's around 78 kilometers to go, and that was the big move of the day. And I don't know, leave down in the comments what you think about these tactics of Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe, because they have Florian Lipowitz, the German, setting third overall and in the white jersey. And as yesterday's tactics played out, now he was only 22 seconds at the start of the day ahead of Oscar Onley, the Scottish rider from Picnic Post NL. And it was going to be a tight one out there. And why the heck would you send Primoz Roglic up the road? Maybe to try for a stage win, but it didn't play out because what happened, Primoz was joined by Martinez and then Valentin Perpentre, really gritted to join those two over the top of the Col de Pre, then heading towards the Roseland. For his part, Martinez picked up the mountains points at the top of the Col de Pre and then at the top of the Roseland climb. Well, Roglic, on the descent of the Roseland, decided to go free, go solo, get rid of him, got rid of Valentin Perpentre. Martinez, well, couldn't make any damage, inroads in on Pogacar's lead in the mountains competition because after he was docked for holding onto the team car and just coasting way too long yesterday with Team Bahrain victorious, he is no longer in competition for the KOM points, and that looks like the polka dot jersey will go to Tadej Pogacar as well as the yellow jersey with two more stages left to race in this edition. But back behind we saw Uno X really drilling the pace. Why was that? Because Arkea rider Kevin Vauquelin was dropped and Tobias Johannesson, the Uno X, there had a chance to move up one spot, taking over Vauquelin's spot. And so Primoz was up the road and he was getting pulled back by not the other stage hunters in the race, but by a GC team, Uno X, pulling him back and then leading into the valley up to this 19-kilometer climb where it's raining up here, La Plagne, and it started to come down, the rain. We were up here at the top all day. There was hell, there was rain. The temperature is even lower than it was yesterday, even though we're at lower altitude at 2,000 meters. In the valley, the riders knew what they were in for. This 19-kilometer climb is beautiful up here, but too bad we have this rain. We still have the green hillsides and everything. It wasn't to be for Primoz Roglic, dominant rider in stage races, won the Giro, Vuelta multiple times, but maybe his best is behind him, or maybe he's still struggling to get back from all of his injuries. We don't know, and we don't know about the Red Bull tactics. I can report that thankfully it did work out for Lipowitz. They picked up Rog, and then we got on the climb, and then we saw an attack by Tadej Pogacar. We thought this was it, and then Arensman counters 1, 2, 3 times, and then he gets free, but he's never free far. And Tadej, Ving, Florian Lipowitz, and Oscar Onley, those four, the top four overall, had him within reach all the way up this climb, but nothing happened. Sorry, folks, but some days in cycling racing, it's not the best television, and I think we had a bummer up here today. Not a lot of attacks going on. What we did see, though, was Felix Gall, Decathlon, really working hard for him, because with Roglic being caught and being spat out the back and no help to Florian Lipowitz, Gall looked ready to move up to 5th overall, right behind Oscar Onley. So we saw Gall, Decathlon working for Gall, and then Gall at one point back behind there with Johannesson. Those two working together well because both of those guys were moving up in the GC. I don't know, Red Bull tactics, I'm still trying to work through them as we're talking here on camera. Up the road, we thought, when is Pogacar going to launch? When is Jonas going to try something? Why not throw everything at it? Nothing ever happened. We came to that final kilometer and Arensman was still within reach, but no, they didn't do it. Arensman picks up the second stage of the Tour de France for himself and Team Ineos. Well, congratulations, Arensman. But what the heck happened with Pogacar, Vingegaard, and Lipowitz? Lipowitz, for his part, went to the front and started attacking because Oscar Onley started to get gapped off at one point near the top, and then Lipowitz went to the front, and that gave Poggy and Ving a free ride, although they don't need it, but they rode his coattails all the way to the final closing meters, and then Pog and Ving went ahead, leaving Lipowitz behind. Lipowitz gaining needed time over Onley because it's still tight in the overall as we head into the final two stages of the Tour de France, scratching our heads going, what's going on with Pogacar? Why is he dominating? Why is he picking up more stage wins? Heck, we don't know. But Thymen Arensman winning stage 19, another cold and wet day up in the Alps. Tour de France 2025.